Broadcasting live from Field of the Dead on the plain of Amonkhet, probably. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody. I'm Graham.
I'm James.
I'm Cameron.
And I just assume that Field of the Dead is on Amonkhet because it makes zombies, and Amonkhet had it's not a desert per se, but it looks kind of deserty, and there's other cards from Amonkhet in the set. It could be anywhere. It's core set. Who knows?
That does seem like a reasonable supposition.
Presumably somebody at WotC, right? Like, presumably
someone knows.
every card is very specifically a part of a plane. Mm-hmm. They just don't make it incredibly obvious sometimes.
Yeah.
But I assume when they came up with this, they were like, this is on whatever plane.
It must be. Well, if you look at...
in order to give it art direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at Winding Way from Modern Horizons, it's clearly Theros, because Theros is the only plane we've seen that has those Greek trees.
Yeah, the...
I don't know what kind of tree that's called.
I do, but it's gone from my brain. Goodbye.
You didn't need it.
No.
And yet, hello. Welcome, everybody. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about an update. There's already been an update to the Magic Arena Mastery system based on user feedback, and then actually talking about some M20 since we didn't get as much of a chance to talk about M20 Limited as we intended to last time, because we talked a lot about the Mastery system. And next episode, currently, we're planning to talk a bit about the recent changes to the ban list, primarily the Commander ban list. That'll be next time. But for today, before we start, a reminder that this show is brought to you by CardKingdom.com. Check out CardKingdom.com/LRR. Use that promo code to let them know that we sent you over there. And we do that because we think they're great. We use them ourselves. And they'll ship singles anywhere in the world and very, very fast. And if you tell them in the little comments thing when you place an order, Loading Ready Run sent me, button please, they'll give you a little 1-inch button, which currently says math is for blockers, but who knows how long that's going to last. And of course, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Let us begin with a crack-a-pack. Cameron, you want to roll the big old D20 there? 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Ooh, it's a pack of Mirrodin. Original Mirrodin. This was given to us by Mike Chip at MagFest 2018.
Thanks. Wait.
Wow.
We went to MagFest in 2018?
I guess.
Huh. I thought the last time...
That's what that says, right?
It certainly looks like it. I thought the last time I went to MagFest was 2017, though.
I thought so, too.
Oh, no, I guess because it was Ben... Who went to... It was Ben and Ian and Beej that went to MagFest, I guess, in 2018. So
and
none of us.
FedEx lost a box of our stuff.
That's right. It was, okay, so yeah, it was 2018.
Maddening.
Cool.
All right. So, Mirrodin, original Mirrodin, this is from...
2004? 5? 7? 12?
2003.
Wow.
1983?
1983, yes. And we start with Fangren Hunter.
I don't know what any of these cards do.
3, yeah, let's not play that game. 3 green for a 4/4 with trample.
Where's Wheeler?
Sure.
That seems like a common green creature.
Yeah, I mean, like 4/4 is it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like I think nowadays this would probably be closer to like a 5/5 with trample.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, seems kind of sweet.
Yeah. Nurok Hover Sail.
This sounds like an artifact.
Yep. Single mana artifact equipment. Equip cost is 2, and the equipped creature has flying.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's a little expensive equip for this.
This is a flip of Kite Sail, isn't it? Isn't Kite Sail 2 to cost and 2 to cast and 1 to equip?
I wanted to say, yeah, Kite Sail is 1 to equip. I'm sure of it.
Nope. But it gets +1/+0.
Oh.
And it's 2 and 2.
So Kite Sail is better, I guess. I like that Kite Sail is just flying on its own.
Yeah, that doesn't really speak much to the airworthiness of Kite Sail. Where's the pilot? Yeah.
Disciple of the Vault, part of a combo. Single black mana for a 1/1 human cleric. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, any artifact, you may have target opponent lose 1 life.
Yep.
I don't recall what the combo is, but it does stuff. So that's cool. Pewter Golem is a 5-mana 4/2 golem, and for 1 and a black, you may regenerate Pewter Golem. This is the Mirrodin's so weird because all the artifacts are very pale. Like they're very, very pale. I have an artifact on the table. The next card is white, and they look super similar.
Yeah, it's weird.
And the mana symbols on the artifacts I believe this was actually a printing error, that the mana symbols on the artifacts are not in color.
Now, what's the was this the first set that went to the gray artifacts?
Yes.
And so they didn't quite have the
because
printing.
it was the new border.
Yeah,
right.
Was in
Mirrodin is the first one with the new border, right?
Yeah, because this is where Modern starts, right?
Did this happen before 8th edition? Because 8th edition is the cutoff for Modern.
Oh, right, yeah. This was... I don't actually know. It would have been right around the same time. Like, it's either going to be the one before the one...
Yeah. They're all really pale.
Yeah.
That's the point. I assume it was 8th edition and then this was the fall set.
Probably. Anyways, it's a 4/2. It's garbage. Move on.
It's not great. Razor Barrier. Very spiky. 1 and a white for an instant. Target permanent you control gains protection from artifacts or from the color of your choice until end of turn.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
What was the version of this that was printed in New Phyrexia? With the cast Apostle's Blessing.
Right.
It was the
mana,
same,
right?
but it was 1 and a white Phyrexian mana.
Right.
I recall that you could get people with that, but it helped that you could pay Phyrexian mana for it if you had to.
I really enjoy that this guy is like, this Leonin is sure, right? Like, look at him with his arm in the air.
Yeah, he's dodging.
I was just looking at 8th edition also does have that
They're really pale.
the extremely pale artifacts.
Dingus egg.
Dingus egg.
That's not as... with the white border, it pops a little bit more, though, I think. Because with the black border... Yeah.
It's weird.
Anyway.
Soldier Replica is a 3 mana for a 1/3 soldier, artifact creature soldier, and for 1 and a white and sacrifice it. Soldier Replica deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature.
Actually,
All of the replicas were like fine. Like they were all fine. Some are better than others. You needed artifacts. This set was all about artifacts. You had a lot of artifacts. You would run things. Battle Growth, single green, instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I don't think that's worth a card.
That's not worth a
No.
card at all.
But
I mean, it's nice that it's a counter.
It's a combat trick that sticks around.
Yeah, but it's a
Yeah.
very minor combat trick.
But now, of course, there was artifact synergies with
+1/+1
+1/+1
counters.
counters.
Yeah.
Modular.
Modular
Modular,
stuff,
yeah.
Still.
it's still not great. Maybe it was.
Nim Lasher, 2 and a black for a zombie. The Mirrodin zombies were the Nim. So it's a
Ow,
1/1.
my Nim.
Yeah, it's a 1/1 for 2 and a black, and it gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control, but it never gains toughness. So I think this is terrible.
It seems
Yeah, for
bad.
3 mana.
None of these cards seem particularly good.
Yeah, and like limited, you one drop artifact, 2 drop artifact. Turn 3 Nim Lasher.
It's like, haha, I have a 3/1. Yeah. Cool.
Steel Wall, 1 mana for an 0/4.
Hell yeah. Walls can't attack. I'm in. First pick.
Wall of Wood is an 03.
Yeah,
Like that, steel should be a pretty big upgrade over
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, you would think like the Amaranthine Wall is a 0/8 or a 0/6,
This is
Yeah.
easier to cast, though.
and that's just made of grass.
Doesn't this also have just a strictly better version in the Return to Mirrodin block? You can pay a green to give it reach.
Doesn't it have like annex, something of the annex? No.
No, it's just an 0/4 wall. I remember playing it at the pre-release because I was like, well, if I need to stop myself from being attacked while I do my whatever horse crap I'm trying to do in this terrible deck. Did not do well at that pre-release. Disarm. Very strange. Single blue mana for an instant. Unattach all equipment from target creature.
That is not worth a card.
I mean, it's a fun
Like,
getcha.
I'm
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I
a
guess.
fun combat
but,
trick.
Like,
I wouldn't play this, but I like the flavor text. Be thankful I left your clothes.
Okay.
That's not okay.
I've been able to craft a best case scenario where this is an absolute blowout. Mm-hmm. That Leonin that like buffs other creatures you control on the basis of how many artifacts or how many equipments are attached to that creature.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right? So you unattach it to all of them and everything sucks. There.
There you go.
There's
You figured
your,
it out.
There's your
Yeah.
great scenario. Don't play this card. Viridian Joiner, 2 and a green for a 1/2 elf druid. Tap to add an amount of green mana to your mana pool equal to Viridian Joiner's power. Sure. Actually.
Yeah, actually,
I mean,
yeah.
It's a 3 mana dork that can maybe get a little bit better.
There's a lot of equipment in the set.
Yeah.
I think this is probably okay. Like Marwyn from Dominaria had the same tap ability.
For elves, right? Number of elves?
Well, no, so it was still her power, but she got a +1/+1 counter every time
Right.
another elf came into play. So, but there wasn't a huge amount of elves in Dominaria.
No.
So, also she started as a 1/1.
Right.
So being a 1/2 makes this, I think, a little better. I think Viridian Joiner. I didn't play Mirrodin Limited. I assume this card was fine.
Sure.
That's my assumption. Oh, Kathy, it's Cathodian.
Hey.
3 mana for a 3/3, and when it dies, you get 3 mana.
Yes, please.
Great.
Yeah.
Sure.
First pick.
It's a
Slam it.
Being a 3 mana 3/3
Yeah.
is good enough.
Yeah.
But it doesn't swing through Wall of Steel.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Unless you put the +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
There we go.
This thing.
Comboed.
It's the nuisance engine. I love this name. 3 mana artifact for 2 and tap. Put a 0/1 pest artifact token into play.
Presumably this can do things with other things.
Well,
but-
you get more artifacts.
I
just
guess that's true. Yeah,
having
right. They are
artifacts was a
artifact
good
creatures.
idea.
Yeah. Fair.
You get infinite chump blockers, not infinite, but like you get a chump blocker every turn. You make more artifacts. You have artifacts coming into play. You have artifacts dying.
Yeah.
Nuisance engine could do cool stuff. Mere Mind Servant.
I was wondering when we would find one of these.
Yeah, single mana for a 1/1 mirror, and for 2 and tap, shuffle your library.
What?
Wow.
Why?
I wondered why I'd never seen this particular mirror before.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen this mirror. I wonder what it does. Oh,
Nothing.
It's also kind of like Iron Man colors.
you can only shuffle your library. Like the flavor text is, it knows what you're planning and it does not approve. That implies that you could shuffle the opponent's library.
library,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
No.
no. Here's the thing about Mirrodin. There were a lot of whiffs. And our rare is, what on earth? Quicksilver Fountain. I've never seen this card before. 3 mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts a flood counter on target non-island land he or she controls. That land is an island as long as it has a flood counter on it. At end of turn, if all lands in play are islands, remove all flood counters from them.
At the beginning
And?
of each player's upkeep, that player puts up. I still don't get it. What?
So I guess this is supposed to lock your opponent, because if a land is an island,
Yeah.
then it can only tap for blue mana, right? So it's not like they get to tap for either or. If you say that mountain is now an island, then they can't tap it for red mana. So I assume
Yeah.
you're in a blue deck. You use this as sort of like a stacks kind of effect, where every turn they have one fewer useful land for their deck. Except a couple problems. One, lots of artifacts, which you can cast for anything. Two, at a certain point, they all go away, and then the thing begins again. Three, this sucks.
It's like a terrible blood moon.
This is so bad.
Yeah.
Do you think Wheeler knows what this card does?
Also, I like this.
Probably not.
In the rules clarifications for it. Here's the Wombo combo.
Okay.
The lands stay islands until the flood counter is removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the Quicksilver Fountain is gone, nothing is there to remove the flood counters.
Right.
So you get them down to like one land, and then you destroy your Quicksilver Fountain, and then it counters never go away.
Right.
I guess.
Haha.
And it becomes it's
No.
like an incredibly long, elaborate Blood Moon
This is terrible.
for blue.
This is unbelievably garbage.
I'll be first picking the Disciple of the Vault, Graham.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll be glad that WotC doesn't make artifact-based.
I would probably just
sets
take
anymore.
Cathodian. But yeah,
Yeah.
Disciple
Like,
seems good.
This seems like an interesting solution to the long-standing problem of WotC's artifact-heavy sets being quite powerful.
It makes
Or
me.
this pack seems like an
this
interesting
pack
solution.
makes me happy they don't do those sets anymore.
There's one white card, there's one blue card,
yeah. There's no
there's
red.
no
cards.
red. And then there's 2 black cards, one of which is Nimlasher, and 3 green cards.
Like, is there even a card? Do any of the artifacts interact with red? None of them did, right?
No, we got a artifact. We got a white artifact and a black artifact.
Wow. All right. Cool. Cool pack.
Wow.
Cool set.
What a weird thing. All right. So, Mastery System, pardon me. When we last spoke, mere days before this change, we were talking about the Mastery System and people's complaints with it and our own issues with it up and down. And I appreciate everyone being cool in the YouTube comments. That was nice. So Wizards has... Look, I'll say this, and I think I said this last time. The Arena team is nimble and responsive in a way that Wizards Digital has never been before.
In a way that a lot of studios have never been before. I mean, we were
Yeah,
here
actually.
We were here a week ago, not even a week ago, talking about the Mastery System being, kind of on the fence. Nice. Kind of on the fence about it. We had our likes, we had our dislikes, but we also did, I remember clearly saying that we weren't expecting any changes to it as it stood. Like, I assumed that it would remain the same, with the exception of Paul, I believe, said during the episode that they were going to be removing the ability to buy levels.
Yes.
They had already at that point said that they were taking that away.
Which curiously didn't happen in the most recent update.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. But I did not expect...
I think they said it was going to be the end of July update.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect anything like what they did. Like, it's kind of almost unheard of.
So as a reminder...
Yeah, you would expect that they would at least keep it for like a while to see how it
We'll
would
just
go.
keep it for the one set. But anyways.
As a reminder, they introduced this Mastery System. You earn experience, you move along this track.
Yeah.
And without paying any additional money into it or gems, which you can technically earn in-game, but earning up to 3,400 gems would take you a while, or you have to be very good at draft. Without paying, you have the potential to earn up to 3 packs a week, which they took from previously. It was if you just got 15 wins in a week, you got 3 packs at 5, 10, and 15.
Yes.
These are the normal Arena 8-card packs, not like a full limited pack. And then you can also pay money to get into the Mastery track. Again, as a reminder, you can do that at any point. So, as with everything we're discussing with the Mastery System, if you don't think it'll be worthwhile, wait. Wait until the last day of the season and then look and go, okay, if I pay 3,400 gems, I will get all of these levels, and then see if it's worth it to you to then just unlock all of that at once. You don't have to do it now unless there's a reason that you want to get that stuff as you're going along. So the pushback was that people felt like the app now required them to log in every day.
Or at least more than maybe they were. Right? Because the nice thing about the 3 packs on 15 wins is there is no limit there, right? You could do that in one day.
Yeah.
But with the new Mastery System and taking those 3 packs and putting them on the track every other level, it meant that to get those 3 same packs, you can't do that in a day. There's not enough experience for you to accumulate in the course of playing over a day to get those 3 packs, and that was one of the big sticking points.
So, because the way that it worked was daily wins would give you 150 and 50 experience, and then further daily wins you wouldn't get any other experience, and your daily quests would give you 800 experience. And you could let those daily quests stack up 3 in a row, just like you could before, the ones that gave you gold and still do give you gold. So you could log in every 3 days, clear out those 3 quests, get your gold, and then 8, 16, 2,400 experience from those 3 quests and your daily wins for the day. So you could log in every 3 days and get 2,600 experience every 3 days. So like you didn't actually have to log in every day.
No.
But the problem was that it made you felt like you did.
Yes.
Right.
Or made you feel like you did. Pardon me. Weird conjugation of that sentence, Graham. And people didn't like that. People didn't like that. They didn't like that you could just buy levels. Basically, it was people being like, hey, we don't like that we're feeling psychologically manipulated here. And Wizards went, okay, I get that. So they've said that they're going to take away the ability to buy levels because they don't want people to feel like they're pressured into doing that. And again, that button hasn't actually gone away, but I assume that was a harder thing to remove.
Well,
they said that they were going to, as James mentioned, they said they were going to take that away before we even recorded the last episodes.
Yeah.
But what they've done now is they've sort of balanced between the current system and the old system. So they have removed the experience for daily wins. So daily wins are now back to what they were before, which is 250 gold, 100, 100, 100, and then a mix of 50 gold and cards as you go on. No experience with the daily wins. Now there's a new tracker, and it's 15 weekly wins, and you just get experience for your 15 weekly wins. The daily quests now, instead of 800 XP, are now 500 XP. So there's less wins associated with the daily quests, but there's more experience available overall. Like the net available experience is actually gone up, meaning that if you are someone who only logs in once a week or twice a week, you actually are able to get more experience than you could before if you were logging in every day.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one of the really big sort of sticking points was this idea where, despite experience not being technically capped, people just ran out of stuff to do to get experience.
Exactly. That was what I said last time, that I thought they had a real messaging issue, because the Arena account was saying there is no daily experience cap, and people were like,
But there de facto is.
well, yeah, people were like, well, you're lying, and they're like, well, no, we're not lying. There is no experience cap. But there's only so much on offer, right?
Right.
But I mean, so they've said that events are going to have experience with them, right? So say in the future if we assume that the system hadn't changed. Say there's an event happening and you have 3 quests backed up and you have your daily wins and everything. You could do all of that and earn thousands of experience in one day. So yeah, there is no cap. But then once you've done that, then what happens the next day? Then you only have the daily wins.
Right.
So yeah, like you say, there wasn't an actual cap, but there was kind of a cap of what you could do. So anyway, now there's experience with your quests, the ones that get you 500 and 750 gold. There's 500 experience per one of those quests. There's no experience with daily wins, and there's experience for your 15 weekly wins. So if you can only log in once or twice a week, this is much more in keeping with the feeling that it was before. So for your 3 packs. And then, yeah, they've said that there's going to be another Chronicles event, or Chronicles events coming up, like there were for War of the Spark, when they did there was the Pauper and the Singleton and the Omniscience draft, I think was one of them. All the different sort of odd things. Apparently there'll be experience associated with those. Don't forget that the 2 codes, Level Up and Brought Back, both as one word, that those each get you 2 levels worth of experience. Ooh. And yeah, I mean, so now, like I said last time, now it's just, to me anyway, this is my personal opinion, now the only sort of criticism of it is the general criticism of how mastery passes and things like that, and the way that it's laid out with both tracks visible, are generally psychologically manipulative, and that's an industry-wide problem. Which is not to say that we shouldn't call Wizards out for it, because I don't want to do the thing where it's like, well, everyone does it, so
Right.
Because this is how we got to the point of like loot boxes. Remember how mad people got about horse armor?
Yeah.
Remember how mad people got?
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, it's just horse armor.
Yeah. No,
right.
Horse
It's just
armor is
cosmetics,
normal.
right? That's all been normalized. So that's a much bigger discussion.
Like I'm old enough that I remember when people were profoundly annoyed that Steam could modify your or Steam could like read what your system had,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It could tell what video card you had and reported that back. And now it's just like, well, of course it does that. Everything does that. Siri's listening to me have sex.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Google Home is telling or Alexa is telling Jeff Bezos what I think about him.
but yeah,
It's not complimentary.
No. Yeah. So like, there's this problem in games with FOMO.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
some people are very susceptible to it and make bad financial decisions because of that, and it's a legit problem. And
yeah.
people are, companies are abusing that, and so, But again, it's sort of like that's a little beyond what we can.
I mean, we can
address
talk
on
at
this.
length about it, but this
Yeah.
is a podcast about Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
and how we play it.
Yeah. So I just don't want people to think like
No,
that I'm going like, great, everything is
No.
sunshine and rainbows. I am really happy with these decisions, and I'm glad that they made these changes so quickly. Again, I am frankly astonished that, as you say, not just any company. I'm sorry, Wizards, I love you. Wizards of all people
Yeah.
is being this nimble and responsive with a digital product. It's great. It's awesome, and I hope that that this is the kind of response and communication that we get, that we continue to get going forward, because it makes a big difference that they're doing this. I'm curious to see what comes of the historic format in rotation. I know that people are annoyed that previous sets won't be added back, and
because historic doesn't include Kaladesh or Amonkhet blocks.
Yeah, because those just don't exist on the client right now,
Right.
even though they all work because we played them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Earlier in the beta.
they don't exist publicly for
Yeah,
us.
and they've said that's a issue for basically the health of the format, not like a programming thing.
Right,
And-
where when those sets were available, the player base was smaller, so the number of players who have access to those, sometimes quite powerful cards is limited.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, no one has them in their collections because there was a wipe.
Right.
There's a
yes,
wipe,
Right.
yeah.
Yes. Of
when
course,
the,
there was a wipe.
when the open beta came out. So anyway, I'll be interested to see. People have been theorizing: are they going to do? Will we see historic paper events at Magic Fests? Right? Like, is historic a thing that's just like, oh yeah, that's that dumb arena thing, or is there going to be more to it?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I
Will
would.
this be the next modern? Will it be the next brawl?
It certainly feels like in paper it has a much bigger chance of being the next brawl than the next modern. Maybe in a few years, because the fact is that come September, when we hit rotation, it's basically gonna be it's extended at that point,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I realized we didn't actually talk about that last time. That's when Archery, codename Archery, comes out in September.
Yeah.
That's when the standard rotation happens, and what is it? Ixalan, and it's a big rotation.
Yes.
Ixalan and M19
And Dominaria?
and Dominaria,
yeah,
all
Right.
rotate
I
out
believe,
of standard. But on Arena, they're introducing a new format called Historic. That won't be confusing. That is basically just everything that's available on Arena. So there'll be Standard, which is just what's in actual Magic Standard, like everything else, and then Historic, which is everything that's available on Arena, so that people's cards are no longer
Useless.
Gone.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a challenging problem for Wizards, where they
Yeah.
don't want to further balkanize, or they don't want to balkanize their player base between arena players and paper players. But they don't necessarily also want to overwhelm paper players with yet another format that you need to bring a deck for.
Yeah. I don't see it being a format that shows up in paper anytime soon.
What if it's awesome though?
If it's awesome, then
I mean,
maybe it will.
I'm not holding my breath on that,
But
but,
again,
yeah.
for at least for the next, certainly next year plus, or at least for the first year of its life, I think it's not going to feel all that exotic, I suppose. Right.
It'll
It's
feel
not
like,
gonna,
oh, I remember this standard deck from last year.
Yeah, exactly.
But now there's cards from Archery in it.
Yeah, and I could see maybe in 2 or 3 years when the format has a card pool that isn't just very recent standard, that's when I feel like it could start really taking off. Because you just have a much larger card pool, and all of a sudden now there's a lot more viable decks.
Right.
So
Cool.
But who knows? We'll see.
So let's talk about M20.
Risen Reef is a completely absurd card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It should be banned.
Who is it that was
The
saying
Reef.
that when there's an uncommon blue-green card that draws you cards and is a creature,
It's just always
keep
good.
keep your eye on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Coiling Oracle and like
It's
So-
good. I heard it's good in Standard. I haven't paid attention.
So Risen Reef, 1 green blue for a 1/1 elemental, and that is obviously very key. When Risen Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped, and if you don't put the card onto your battlefield, you just draw it.
yeah. So combos with Chandra, who
And
makes 2 elementals a turn.
wow.
yeah,
right.
well, I mean, and also just combos with every other elemental in the set, for which
Yes.
there are a lot. Adam and I, for lrr.MTG yesterday, we're recording this on Friday, Thursday afternoon, we drafted a fairly absurd green-blue elemental deck with Risen Reef. And this card was by a long shot the all-star of the deck.
Oh, yeah.
Like it wasn't even
unreal.
close, and it's good enough on its own. Like even if you're just playing Risen Reef and like 1 or 2 other elementals, it's still great. But our deck probably had about 9 or 10 elementals, including what's the druid called? The mana dork, the one.
Oh, Leafkin Druid.
The Leafkin Druid.
Yeah.
That's an elemental.
Yep.
And
Do you have the Overgrowth Elemental?
yep,
That one's good, too.
And we had we had a Wave Crasher. Which
Yarok's
is the,
Wave Crasher?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is 3 and a blue for a 4/4 when it enters the battlefield. Return a creature you control to your hand.
So notably, it's return another creature.
Yes,
So
return another creature.
if it's because that's different in a couple
Yes,
templating. If Yarok's Wave Crasher is the only creature you play, you don't have to bounce it.
Correct.
You just get a 4/4 for 4 in blue.
but it's also an elemental.
Yeah.
And with Risen Reef, it's like okay.
So you play that, you bounce the Reef, and then you replay the Reef next turn.
Or we play this and we bounce the Druid because it's cheaper.
Float mana in
and now
response.
you're
use the Druid to cast the Wave Crasher.
That's what we did.
Oh, that's so
numerous
good.
times, and the Druid's great because that deck had no problem getting a few creatures out on the board, which means you turned on the double mana tap rather than just the single. And we had 2 or 3 of them in the deck, and the deck was just completely absurd. Like we were drawing way too many cards. We won 1 game where we literally had no cards left in our hand. It was a very, very good. I highly recommend. I assume by the time that this podcast goes up, that VOD will be up. I would really recommend going to check out that VOD. It was a really good stream. We played a lot of really good Magic. I think we only dropped 1 game and won all 6 or 7 matches that we played. It was a lot of fun.
All of our Twitch VODs, by the way, if you are listening to this or if you're watching it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LoadingReadyRun, all of our Twitch VODs go up on a different YouTube channel.
Yep.
youtube.com/LoadingReadyLive. And yeah, that'll be an LRR-MTG one for July 11th.
Yeah.
All the Friday night paper fight, of course, is there too if you want
Also
to see
good,
Paper
yeah.
Magic.
Yep. For which we're doing a
Sorry,
20 draft tonight.
I was just when I'm on Scryfall and I was just looking. I just did a search for what other reef creatures are. Obviously, reef isn't a creature type, but
Reef Pirates.
yeah. So there's reef pirates and reef worm. But what I like about doing this search is now I want to make a blue green reef and also tree folk because all the tree folk show it because TREEF.
Oh, right, yeah.
Treef Oak.
Yeah, so it's the blue reefs and the tree folk have something in common.
Yeah,
which
the
is
4
the word,
letters.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's call it the Treef.
Yeah. Or Reef Madness. I've been playing in Standard, actually, the Dreadhorde deck, which is a black-white deck that runs Cruel Celebrant and the 3/2 zombie from Ravnica block that when a creature dies, draws you a card, you lose 1 life.
Midnight Reaper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the sorcery has Dreadhorde in the name.
Command the Dreadhorde.
Command the Dreadhorde.
Where you pay a bunch of life and just reanimate things?
Yes, and then every X cost artifact creature available. So the Ugin's elemental, and then the other dude with the Wooburg activated ability.
So Ugin's Conjurant and the Wooburg activated ability.
It was like fixed walking ballista, which meant not very good walking ballista.
Gateway Sentry.
Gateway Sentry.
So
See, I don't memorize cards. I'm just like, oh, this effect.
They cost you no life to bring back, and they die immediately.
Yep. And also Ugin's
I
Conjurant.
want this deck list.
Yeah. It's great. Emma Handy tweeted it.
Sweet.
And I think she mentioned it was somebody else's build, but she was playing around with it a little bit, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. And it dies to the elemental deck all the time, or to any graveyard hates. So if somebody's running like Ashiok for value, you just explode.
That ley line is back.
Yeah, the ley line is back as well. But it's a really fun and
Oh, sorry, Chamber Sentry. Pardon
Chamber
me.
Sentry, right. And yeah, it's a good time. It also runs Liliana. And
Well,
yeah, you
she's
can
the,
just
she's the Dreadhorde General.
yeah, you can just blow people up with it. It's really entertaining. Draw a bunch of cards, lose a bunch of life, and then just like it does the greatest thing ever in Arena, which is like you play a card and then like 15 abilities go on the stack, and then your opponent scoops
Perfect.
because they're just like, whatever. I'm on my lunch break. I don't have time for this.
Over in back in Limited, last episode I talked about that Scholar of the Ages deck that I drafted.
Yep.
That I described as demoralizing. And boy howdy was it. So that's now happened to me twice.
Nice.
And
That's how that works. Karma.
You
It'll
reap
get
what
ya.
you sow.
Yeah.
it sucks. Let me tell you.
Tell me about Scholar of the Ages.
Okay, Scholar of the Ages, if you're unfamiliar with the card, is 5 blue for a 3/3 human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, you return up to 2 target instants and or sorceries from your graveyard to your hand.
All right.
And it is, frankly, if you can just live to get your land in play, and there's plenty of ways to do that, there's plenty of ways for a deck to not die. You can be in it, like you trade your creatures off aggressively, you use your removal aggressively, and then you play Scholar of the Ages, and unless someone can exile Scholar of the Ages,
Right.
the game's basically over.
Right.
Because the loop is you play Scholar of the Ages and you return to probably 2 removal spells or whatever. Scholar of the Ages die. Like you just keep attacking with it, or you block with it or whatever, or you sack it to bone splinters. That's the real trick. Scholar of the Ages dies. Then you cast Soul Salvage and return Scholar of the Ages and another creature that died, like in one of the cases I'm thinking of that happened against me, the 1/1 with lifelink and death touch,
Right.
because it's all cheap and has death touch.
Yeah, right.
Then you replay Scholar of the Ages and you get back Soul Salvage and whatever, Bone Splinters, Return to the Ashes, some sort of removal spell, and you can just do that forever. And so I was sitting there, it's not like I'm flooding out. I'm drawing good creatures, I'm drawing powerful spells, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because my opponent just goes like, yeah, I can just keep doing this forever. And
There's a lot
there's
of-
nothing you can do about
So
it.
you're
There's
like,
a-
this is what I'm a monster.
Yeah, yeah. You basically just feel like, it feels like you should be able to do something.
Right.
And you
because
can't.
You're just getting beaten to death by this 3/3
Yeah.
that is generating card advantage.
Like
and
the only way to do it would be to race them in the air, because that wouldn't let them block with Scholar.
right.
But they have so much removal, because Scholar, when they played Scholar, it brought back 2 removal spells generally.
Right.
And there's a lot in black that lets you recur things from the graveyard too, right? It's not
Yeah.
just
and
Soul Salvage.
And
it's,
Bone Splinters is it common,
Yeah.
right? So you use Bone Splinters, sack Scholar of the Ages, kill a creature,
Right.
then you Soul Salvage Scholar of the Ages and a creature. They come back. When you cast Scholar, you get back Soul Salvage and Bone Splinters.
Right. So essentially it's tutoring every turn.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
tutoring for 2
ludicrous.
cards.
It's ludicrous.
Right. I mean, yeah, this is...
Yeah. So you got to
I'll
live
need that list.
You got to live to 7 mana. But
I was gonna say it is very expensive, right? Like Scholar,
But I've had
is a 7
this-
drop is.
I think this set is kind of grindy. I've tried
It
drafting.
definitely can
I've
be,
tried
yeah.
drafting aggro, and it's got there in a couple of matches. You know, if you can get the red-green elemental deck, right? Then yeah, that can be quick. If you can do like black-white tokens, they can be fast games. But I've had some very, very slow,
Yep.
long games. You know,
I drafted the, maybe I didn't draft, I can't remember, but I definitely had a pretty ridiculous black-white token deck. What are all the cards that are in that deck?
Corpse Knight?
So there's Corpse Knight, there's the...
which is a 2/2, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Corpse Knight also goes in the deck that I run.
Oh, that makes sense.
So there's a Corpse Knight, there's the zombie, the 3/2 zombie that creates a 2/2 if there's another creature card of the same name.
It's a 3/3.
Is it? I thought it was a 3/2.
No.
Okay, so it's a
The
3/3.
bone-clad necromancer.
No. That's the one that exiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the zombie that checks the graveyard for the same name card
Oh,
as
Undead Servant.
Undead Servant. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So that Undead Servant.
I've been wary of that because it seems like for 4 mana is expensive, but I haven't got it in draft yet, and that seems like a place where you could pick up multiples.
Yeah. And then obviously there is the white Splicer.
Oh yeah.
And just picking up,
God.
if you can go fairly wide and pick up some inspired charges and stuff like that.
Pattern Matcher is a golem too, right?
Yep. Yeah. I felt, that felt pretty good.
I had an opponent do that to me. They played Master Splicer, and then they played Pattern Matcher and got a second Master Splicer. So then they had 3 5/5s. And I was like, oh, that's bad. Pattern Matcher, by the way, is a 3/3 golem for 4. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card with the same name as another creature you control, and then you reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your library. So you got to have, I think, if you have like 3 creatures that you have pairs of, or like maybe 2 creatures that you have like 2 and 3 of, maybe. Like, this doesn't go in every deck.
No.
But in that instance, with the Master Splicer, they were like, Splicer, Pattern Matcher, Splicer was like, oh, fudge.
Yeah. I just lost this game.
Yeah. There's incidentally several golems. Like, if you get a Master Splicer early, maybe even 2 of them, they're uncommon, right?
Yep.
Master
Right.
Splicer?
Yep.
Then you probably run Prismite. Like, its ability sucks, but it's a piker for 2 colorless, right? It's a 2/1 for 2, and if you get a Master Splicer, then it's a 3/2.
Yeah.
Stone Golem's still probably not great, but I don't know. If you have 2 Master Splicers, maybe
Stone
you run
Golem
it.
being the 4/4 for 5.
4/4 for 5, yeah.
That's okay.
So there's Prismite, Pattern Matcher, Stone Golem. I think there's another Golem, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, there's a Stone Golem.
Because Diamond Knight is Diamond Knight a Golem?
It shouldn't be.
I quite like Diamond Knight.
I like Diamond Knight. I can't. It's not a golem, right? Yeah.
No, okay.
Paul says.
Oh, right.
Meteor Golem. Yeah.
I mean, you run Meteor Golem regardless.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you're playing that card. It doesn't matter what deck you're playing. You're playing
Yeah.
that card. So.
Yeah,
Meteor than what?
Yeah. Almost everything.
Meteor Golem, Prismite, Stone Golem, and Pattern Matcher are the only
and
4.
then the Splicer makes the golem.
Right.
All right. So I mean, yeah, Golem Tribal not necessarily a thing, but you could dream.
Yeah.
You can make it happen. I believe in you.
I mean, I've lost to it, so there we are.
There you go.
Pattern Matcher Golem, originally built to help its owner with puzzles in Professor Layton, I believe.
Yeah. No kidding.
It's
So-
very, very good at Towers of Hanoi. It's like, no, you just move that ring there.
So, as a core set, M20 is really interesting to me because, apart from protection,
Which I don't like.
which I don't like,
Yeah.
but that's a different discussion. There's no mechanic, right? 'Cause, like, we just come off of War of the Spark, which had like a mass, and there were, all through the Ravnica blocks, there was 5 mechanics per set. There's no keyworded mechanic. Right. But the set is complex.
Yeah,
so,
it's definitely
it's interesting that what they've decided to do with as a core set is to basically hammer home the like every card has rules that change how the game plays, and it leads to some very complex board states and lines of play without having to sort of always know the themes of the set. It's just like you have these cards. What do the cards in front of you and in your hand do to the game?
I mean, I guess in some ways, not having keywords makes it so that, because keywords what kind of obfuscate what is actually happening to a certain extent, just to save space.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is reading the card explains the card, but even more so because there isn't there isn't even anything hidden behind the keyword.
Yeah. So like as an onboarding for new players, it seems like it's a lot, but it's also an interesting philosophy of how to do a core set.
Well, yeah, and how to explore what the implications of those keywords actually are, right? Like one of the ones that I really enjoyed the most recently, this is somewhat of an aside, I guess, but was how...
We don't allow asides on this podcast.
Well, was how Guilds of Ravnica... Wait, is it Guilds of Ravnica that had Selesnya in it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Guilds of Ravnica convoke combos with Vigilance, which is a green-white mechanic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I really enjoyed that. That wasn't an explicit interaction, but Vigilance is actually quite a powerful ability in the right context. And so I enjoy core sets like these that build off of the implicit complexities in those keywords, right? Like the blue-white flying deck, getting that card that draws cards for flyers, right? Or gets discounted.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Winged Words?
Winged Words, yes.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah. I enjoy it a lot.
I think it's surprising that a core set, to me, based on historical observations, it's surprising that a core set can lead to this many interesting plays. I was watching Ben Stark stream the other day, and just some of the stuff that was happening in those games was like surprising, like really complex board states. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like to feel challenged and to come up with interesting lines of play. And Magic is already a fairly complex game.
Yeah.
Right? You don't always need a lot of new keyword mechanics to sell me on that complexity.
Yeah, but protection was a mistake.
Yeah, protection is bad. I don't like protection at all.
Yeah, it just leads to like
it is an awkward ability that has far too many edge cases. It's just not. It needs to be straightforward, especially when you introduce it into a core set like this.
Yeah.
And it's not super. I mean, so I've seen a few people, pretty annoyed with it in the fact that it's just completely changed the way some of these games have been playing. And I can't say that I've run into that so much. Most of the cards with protection, especially the low cost cycles, are they're not great. But you run into, the 2 green dinosaur.
Oh my god.
And I mean, that's just, that's a bomb. Like if you're playing blue and you run into that card, it's just all right, well, you're probably gonna lose, unless whatever other color you are playing can deal with it.
Pacifism.
Yeah, pacifism or anything else. So I don't really, I don't care so much there. It's the future that I'm a little concerned about, because they've made it clear that protection is something that's going to be coming back, and that's not the best, because I am not a big fan of.
Well, I thought that this was a provisional test.
I remember just in the rules doc.
I mean, it's back now. For this set, but I don't know if it'll be back going forward.
Possibly.
We'll
I mean,
see.
it's one of those things where it's. I mean, Magic is designed in the space where if it's in this set, it's probably with the idea of bringing it back a little bit more. It's probably in the next set or two.
Yeah.
And they can't course correct until.
That's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. It's not gonna make me stop playing Magic at all. No. I don't hate protection that much. I just think in general it's not a very great mechanic.
Yeah, it's one of those. Oh man.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I need to be mad at something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's only there's just basically the one cycle in M20.
Yeah, there's the one cycle, and then there's a few, as I said, the dinosaur and
but like there's only 6 cards. With
Exactly.
protection.
And
Yeah,
again,
so-
like it for me, it is less about the set and more about what it means for the future.
Right.
So we'll see.
maybe we can get a circle of protection
Oh,
to
that
prevent.
cops.
Yeah.
Prevent protection.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for this week. Paul, I saw you messing around with a URL thing earlier. Are we going to talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. Hey, Corset 2020 nicknames. That's right. Yeah. Was this actually visible on screen when you were laying it earlier? Oh, okay. We could see it, but you couldn't, or but they couldn't. Interesting. All right. Well, whatever. Anyway, lrr.cc/M20. Yes, we are doing the subreddit thing again. I know that some people weren't a big fan, but overall it worked very well. We're gonna also go through and try to add a few more of our own this time, and we'll see how that goes. But if you want to submit a nickname for the Corset 2020 nicknames episode, go there, throw in your nickname. It should be in contest mode, so it will randomize the order and obfuscate upvotes and whatever. If you don't have an idea, go there anyway and upvote ones that you do like, and we'll read the best ones out on the podcast. And that'll be in a couple weeks' time. I don't know exactly the dates, but we'll figure it out.
What is it? The 12th today. We'll probably do it at the end of the month or the beginning of August at some point. Speaking of August.
Oh yeah, Magic Fest Vegas.
Fest Vegas. That is happening August 22nd through 25th. We will be there, myself and Cameron and Ben and Adam and Serge. At least that is currently who is planning on going. We're going to be doing
all kinds of
stuff. There's
TBD.
There's a big push of Commander this go round. So I think there's going to be a Commander area this year, including a Commander party that I think we're supposed to be going to Friday night. So
Adam's running back his Battle Bond versus Gavin Verhey.
Yeah, so the Battle Bond, versus, I mean, that's going to be more of a spectator thing. So it's currently the plan was him and Gavin, me and Ashlyn, and she's already working out costume ideas, so that should be fun. And then I think possibly Ben and Serge, and then one other group, which I won't say because I have no idea.
Wait, Gavin and Adam on a team?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
It would be
paired with other people.
Him and Josh, I think.
Oh wow, okay.
And then the idea is to make that a big thing. We'll see. There's no firm details yet, but we're going to do that. And then I think we'll probably do another panel. We're probably going to be streaming, and then just in general, we're going to be there all weekend playing Magic, and you'll be able to find us and hang out, and we can sign your playmat or whatever you want us to do.
Keep an eye on future episodes of Tap Tap Concede and our Twitter for more information on that.
Yeah.
So until next time, a reminder that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please do check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your card purchasing needs, because we think they're great. And of course, this show and everything that we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. It's how we do all the things that we do. Until next time, I am Graham.
I am James.
I was Cameron.
Cool. And we'll talk to you next time.